You know, after the Jones fight, I was crushed. I thought I had what it took to win that fight. I didn't get the job done. You know, I think it was a tale of two fights. John actually stayed the course, stayed focused, and I started to lose my focus a little bit. The things that I said in the build-up to the fight, interacting with people, you kind of get an idea of who they are. He got into that wreck in his vehicle that one time. Then he failed the drug test or something. I don't need validation in saying that John is not a good person. I find no joy in that because at the end of the day, he's not the one that's suffering. It's his family, his kids. With the punishments now being public for any instances relating to drugs, I think it's fair. For the guys that compete clean, this is great for them. There's no more cheating. I mean, it's cheating. You know, when guys were doing the things that they were doing, they were just basically cheating, and it's unfair to the guy that's doing it clean. If a guy is still willing to take those risks, knowing the punishments, then the guy has a real problem. I think something needed to happen. And I think that's what the UFC did this time. You know, man, getting a second shot at the championship means everything. When I lost to John in such a big promotion, you know, it was tough.
After the John Jones fight, you know, the loss, you know, he was motivated to prove again that he's deserving another shot.
Thank goodness for the New Orleans fight card coming about and motivating me to go fight at home in front of my family.
He has a second opportunity to you know, go out there and do what he was supposed to do the first time.
But this wasn't given to me. You know, this is based on my body of work. The things that I have done over the course of my career is why I'm in this position.
We got an opportunity, unfortunately, at Jones' stake. It wasn't something that anybody wishes on a great champion, but it is what it is. You know, the opportunity knocks, you got to open that door.
I can't apologize for working my butt off for the last 5 years to where the UFC thinks highly of what I've done. So, yeah, I deserve this title shot. Rumble and Bader are freakishly familiar. Both aren't known for their grappling. You know, Ryan Bader got submitted by Tito Ortiz. Grappling can't be all that good if Tito's submitting you. And then Anthony's been submitted, but they're wrestlers. Anthony was a junior college national champion. The guy can wrestle. People are confusing that this guy has all new skills. He doesn't have all new skills, but his confidence is so high, it makes him so dangerous. You got to put doubt in that man's mind. And I do that in every fight.
He's extremely dangerous. I don't think there's another light heavyweight in the UFC that's as dangerous as him. So anybody that you know, gets caught by him, they're in trouble. You're
as good as your last competition. Last thing they saw was Anthony Johnson destroy Gustafsson, and he also destroyed Nogueira back to back. So they see this guy that's knocking everybody out. So now he's the boogeyman. But I don't buy it. I think people are oversimplifying this fight. This fight doesn't just come down to me being able to wrestle Anthony and Anthony being able to knock me out. What's going to happen when Anthony gets that moment where he has that moment of concern? We'll see.
I think that the rightful heirs to that title, since we don't know if Jones will ever come back, is DC and Rumble. And whoever wins that is going to be the legit UFC, you know, light heavyweight champion.
I believe in my cardio. I believe in my abilities. And I believe I'm going to win this fight.
Are you listening?
Whenever we fight, we get praised for the way that we fight. Because of the way we train, guys do get hurt. You know, and a lot of times it's very freak. There's a point that Dana was making, and I think Hav has taken that into consideration. Our training has changed a little bit.
When Dana brought the topic up, it didn't hurt me at all. It was the total opposite. It wasn't a jab at us. It was just a thing for all of us coaches to basically up our game.
And a lot of that has to do with Kane being hurt. Anytime you're a champion, your biggest name guy doesn't get to the octagon in almost 2 years, people will start to wonder what's happening and what's going wrong.
No, I thought it was a great opportunity for us to examine what we're doing and actually let everybody else know what we were doing. Because before that, people were just assuming that what he did, that we just beat each other up, and that's not true. We do go hard, that's no doubt, but not like he thought.
We're fighters, you know, guys can't go in and powder puff every day and then expect to go and fight to the best of their ability inside of the octagon.
So it was a great thing that he did, and it's tightened up our game. And we're still going to go hard because you need to. That's the sport. But you know, we don't have to go hard all the time, especially if the individual needs the rest.
Being at AKA, it's a place filled with tradition, history of great fighters. We're not even talking about the guys like Islam that's fighting on the same night as me. We're not talking about Josh Thompson, Khabib. I mean, he's 22-0, 6-0 in the UFC. Who does that? Luke Rockhold has looked amazing since the Vitor fight, and Luke Rockhold says that he credits that fight to nothing more than him having to fight Vitor in Brazil in his first UFC fight when Vitor was still able to use TRT. Mike Kyle too, another guy that fought Anthony. Mike fought Bigfoot and lost, and he really did help me before I went to the Bigfoot fight with some of his thoughts of sharing the octagon with him, as he's done for the Rumble fight.
He doesn't like come forward, throw a punch, puts his head down. You know, like every time. He takes one to give one.
Having Kane back healthy before this fight is great. Having him push you, it's like after puking day after day for a week, eventually your cardio starts to get better.
We don't have anybody that can push DC like Kane can. I don't think there's anybody in the world that can push DC like Kane can, and he has him for this camp. And I think that's the biggest change that's happened for DC is Kane.
Anytime you fight the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world on a daily basis, I think you get better. Because I think that's what Kane is.
His conditioning is going to be where it needs to be, whereas last time, you know, it wasn't quite where it is now because he didn't have Kane last time. And people don't really understand how important it is to have Kane until they're watching it. Then they'll understand what we're talking about. Kane
is Kane. There's no one that's going to beat him. I love Fabricio Verdun. I call him a friend. He's one of my friends. But he's not going to win this fight down in Mexico City.
Fabricio's been on a win streak, and he's been actually doing really, really well. I'm very impressed with what he's been doing. The thing about him is that he hasn't met Kane yet. Kane's going to go out there, and he's going to destroy him, and he's going to show people why he's the best heavyweight in the UFC history. If I can help Cain Velasquez in any way, shape, or form, I'm there. That's the difference between AK and every other gym in the world. This is a real family. Cain Velasquez became so important to me that I would never raise my hand to try and hurt him because us fighting would just destroy their families and mine. How would my son feel seeing me fight Coco's dad? So I fight at 205. That guy's that important to me. What's up, guys? Thanks for always supporting me. This is Daniel Cormier, and I'm on The Shoot.